Hello students, why are you standing in groups outside the class? A group of friends, a group of musicians, a group of players? I always find you in groups. Now come to the class, that is what I am going to teach you now. The social groups. Social life of man starts with aggregates of people. Human societies consist of groups. Social groups are formed when two or more people live together. It is not just a geographic area being occupied by men turns to be a society, but it is the feeling of oneness that forms social groups. Human society has evolved over a long period of time in various forms. Societies have evolved from simple to complex forms. Human activities take place within groups. Human needs are satisfied only within the groups and through group activities. Depending on the changing needs of man, social life or group formation was structured. At this point, the evolution of human societies should be presented to you. Gerald and Jean Lenski classified human societies into 5 types based on the stages of socio-cultural evolution. They are as follows: hunting and gathering societies, horticultural societies, pastoral societies, agrarian societies, and industrial and post-industrial cities. The first one is hunting and gathering societies. In earlier societies, people were nomads moving from place to place in search of food. When food resources depleted, he had to move to a new place. They did not know the mode of raising crops or animals. They hunted wild animals and collected natural products like fruits and fibers from forests. Since the activities are limited in such societies, the division of labor between men and women was simple. The activities were relating to food gathering. There was no authority to control them or private property to be held by them. These were the features of hunting societies. The second one is horticulture societies. The hunting stage was followed by horticultural society. In this stage, men learned to cultivate crops in their lands and domesticate animals. The technology to cultivate crops was limited to digging sticks. The knowledge of agriculture was also very much limited. They were still nomadic in the sense that once the land became infertile, they burnt the waste crops and went in search of a new fertile land. This was called slash and burn cultivation. The rudimentary form of property holdings like axe or sickle emerged. Simple form of religion and community formation took place. The third stage is pastoral societies. Horticultural societies developed in the fertile region, while the pastoral societies had been developing in arid regions of North America, Middle East and Central Asia. Man began to domesticate large herds of animals such as cattle, sheep, goats and camels. The pastoral groups were also partially nomadic, since their migration depended on the seasons. The owners of the herds were wealthy, and for them workers rendered their services. The next stage is agrarian societies. In this stage, people began large scale cultivation of crops. Metal tools were invented and tools like plough were made. Animal power was used for cultivation and transportation. Since cultivation was done permanently in one place, in agrarian stage men lived settled life, which led to the formation of cities. Growth of large cities resulted in a new political structure. Family became an important institution to assist the agricultural activities. New craftsmen like potters, carpenters and blacksmiths were identified by their skills. Irrigation system developed, and there was also expansion of knowledge. In this stage, the importance for private property grew. The next stage is industrial and post-industrial cities. The Industrial Revolution brought a tremendous change in human society. Machines were invented, inanimate sources of energy replaced animal energy, the factory system emerged, and consequently, the labor force was sharply differentiated from the capitalists. At this stage, the class system evolved in the industrial societies. In industrial society, the division of labor between different groups became sharp, and the income became the basis of stratification. Innovations were many under the new system, and there was a demand for skills. The political system became very complex, and economic growth brought transformation of the society. In the post industrial society, along with the technological growth, transportation, communication, media, banking, computer, health and other service sectors grew very fast. These are the various stages of growth of human societies. At every stage, men were living in various groups. Now, we will see what we mean by group. What is a group? A social group consists of two or more people who share a feeling of unity and who are bound together in relatively stable patterns of social interaction. The members of the group stimulate and respond to one another in some meaningful way always. Therefore, man cannot live in total isolation. Isolated life not only becomes unbearable for human beings, but also problematic to survival. Sometimes the term group is used to mean the entire social group, while other times it is used to refer to specific groups. A social group is a plurality of persons who have common identity, feeling of unity, certain common goals and shared norms with high level of interaction. The members have common channels of communication and possess a sense of belongingness. Some examples of social groups are the family, peer group, neighborhood, clubs, etc. Here we always find identity and constant interaction. Sometimes the members of a group might identify themselves with the group and are aware of the common characteristics, but may be scattered all over. They are conscious of the common feature, but may not have constant interaction. Such groups are called societal groups. The examples for societal groups are Chinese, the Brahmins, the Tamilians, the Christians, etc. Each member of these groups are conscious of their identity, but may not live in the same place or know each other. There is another kind of grouping of men which is different from societal groups. This is called an aggregate. An aggregate is a gathering of persons in physical proximity who have come together temporarily and lack organization or meaningful social interaction. Some examples of aggregate are the passengers on the same bus or the audience in the meeting. Members of the aggregate do not share common characteristics and hence do not possess a sense of belonging to the group. Definition of a group. McIver and Page define a social group as any collection of human beings who are brought into human relationships with one another. According to Harry Johnson, a social group is a system of social interaction. Now, I will explain some of the characteristic features of social groups. The characteristic features of social groups are as follows: 1. Collection of individuals. 2. Interaction among members. 3. Mutual awareness. 4. We feeling. 5. Group unity or solidarity. 6. Common interest. 7. Similar behavior. 8. Group norms. 9. Stability of the group. 10. Groups are dynamic. 11. Groups influence man's personality. And the last one is groups vary in size. There are various forces that operate behind for the formation of groups under different circumstances. These forces could be kinship bond, biological factors, psychological bond, geographic identification, cultural affinity, religious factors, economic factors, political factors, and or occupational background. These factors create identity among people with similar qualities and result in the formation of groups. Now, we will see the importance of social groups. Groups are inevitable in human life. Groups have become part and parcel of man's life. Since group life influences human behavior, groups are very important in our life. The first, socialization is possible only in group life. Man learns the norms and expected behavior pattern only in group life. The case of Kamala, a child discovered in a wolf den, had no human qualities. She walked in 4 legs and could not use any language even at the age of 8. It was due to seclusion from social life. Secondly, man can survive only in groups. Human capabilities are limited and hence men are interdependent. Only by establishing group life and membership in various groups, people can satisfy their needs by supporting each other. For instance, all of us live in families. The basic human needs like food, shelter are satisfied within the group life. Our family supplies us food and gives us shelter. That part of life is satisfied with our affiliation with the family. That part of life is satisfied by our membership in a group, but that is not the end. We have several other interests also. A person's interest in music could be satisfied by his membership in a music club, and another person may be interested in playing cricket. He can satisfy that need by becoming a member in a cricket club. So, like this, we become members of different groups based on our interests, and we interact with others, we learn from others many things, and therefore, man can survive only by his membership in different groups. Next, social survival is possible only through groups. Constant social relations only make societies alive and perpetuate. Man's activities take place only within groups, and his needs of different kind are fulfilled only within the groups. For example, you may be interested in exploring nature, you may be an environmentalist, you may like to trek, you may go for trekking for 10 days, and you will explore the nature by getting into a forest, exploring many things, but this you can do only for few days, maybe for 10 days or 12 days. After 10 days you need some company, you will be tired of being secluded from the social life. Not only you need a person to talk, but to satisfy your needs you need a companion, you need somebody to cook for you, to talk to you and meet out other needs of yourself, and therefore, social survival is possible only through groups. Next, personality development takes place within groups. Men are socialized within groups. The personalities of people are shaped by their membership in different types of groups. The personality of people becomes versatile by their membership in various groups. For example, a man's membership in his professional group helps him develop his professional qualities and talents. His membership in a religious group, on the other hand, tames him in good behavior. Like this, the total personality development is possible by membership in different groups. Now, I will sum up the lesson. In the first part of my lecture, I explained to you different stages of socio-cultural evolution, which included hunting and gathering societies, horticultural societies, pastoral societies, agrarian societies, and industrial and post-industrial cities. And next to that, I explained to you what we mean by groups with some definitions. I also explained the characteristic features of groups, and in the last part I was explaining the importance of social groups. Okay students, the lesson is over. Now you may go out and enjoy your group life, but this is not the end of the lesson groups. I am going to teach you social groups part 2 in my next class. Till then, bye.